this, I'm not really sure we stayed on topic enough for this one, but it's like an acoustic wave conversation. I don't know what this is.
First impressions. First impressions of acoustic wave.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of 4 Dummies. And tonight I am joined with the other 3 dummies. I have Mrs. Skullface.
Hello.
I have Robert Detoff.
Hello.
Nicely done. And I have just one.
Hey, what's happening?
And tonight we're going to talk about the first impressions. The first impressions that you get from opening the box and cutting the tape and getting the figure out. And those first moments and how that impacts you throughout your entire experience with it and where it places you or where it places that piece in terms of how you view it scale wise.
To that, Bobby does first impressions for his patrons. That is a very honest read on first impressions because Bobby's not really doing much with it yet. He's kind of just he's sharing his experience with, what it's like to open this box and to pick it up for the first time and just mess with it the way we all do. There's 2 types of first impressions, though. Then you get another very real Bobby first impression when he starts to really mess with it. It's usually during transformation when he really rolls up his sleeves. And if he misses something or he's ham-fisting something that's not working for him, that'll sour his entire opinion on the thing. Don't you find that happens, Bobby?
I would say in an attempt to be fully honest, that a frustrating experience throughout the transformation definitely plays a part in how I will view the overall product.
Let me ask you this. This is definitely not a jab, although it sounds like one.
Oh, boy.
Do you read the instructions the
no,
first
Robert,
go-around when you
does
transform
not
it?
read
So
the instructions.
it depends. It depends on the company. Like I got this Planet X Grimlock today, right? That I did. Planet X, for instance, I already know that those directions are going to be a disaster. So I normally don't even bother. But some companies, especially for instance, X Transbots recently, Fans Toys recently, have had really good instructions and showing you like piece by piece and arrows and everything else. So I will usually have those open as a reference. Yes,
because I've brought this up before that I feel that the instructions are the company's only interface really between them and you as the consumer.
Yeah, I like that MMC obviously has Pake on the old bankroll. They bankroll Pake, and he does those like transformation videos for them. But I think that they're very helpful.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think the videos more helpful than the paper for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a good transformation video, I found that I don't bother with instructions because I don't know if I'm just an idiot. Like I get very confused with what I'm seeing. The more detail in the image.
What I think is good to know too is like, especially like on the older like X Transbot stuff when you had to know like, look, it's going to feel like you're going to break it, but you do have to just bend this plastic in an uncomfortable way. And that's never going to be conveyed in a photo.
Yeah.
But I find the best video instructions are ones where I don't need to look at the figure that I'm holding. I'm looking at the TV and I can feel what I'm seeing. I think first impressions definitely affect our overall experience with a figure. If our initial contact with it, and not just pull it out of the box, but really roll your sleeves up and start trying to transform it, if that is bad for whatever reason, and it could be because you should have used the instructions, or you did use the instructions and they were bad, or you watched a video review and that person is taking something for granted that you need out of them by watching the video, and it sours your experience. One tends to sour to the figure.
No, I think that's 100% legit. And I also think that there's plenty of times where I'll get frustrated with the transformation sequence, and it's because I'm doing it wrong. And then if I realize that I did it wrong, like take a leg, for instance, and like on the second leg, I see the error that I made on the first leg, I'll go back and reshoot both for 2 reasons. One, so people don't say, look, he was doing it wrong. You know what I mean? And then 2, because I do have a different feeling about it after kind of getting it right.
On these pieces where you've borrowed it from somebody for the review purpose and then yours comes in after the fact, right? Because it's happened a few times where just somebody else gets it earlier.
Yeah.
I'm assuming once you get yours, you don't have to do anything to it.
Correct.
Most of the time, you just put it on the shelf.
Correct.
So do you have then a different experience with it that second time when now you're opening up the box and you don't have to mess with it? Like, do you gain something back that you may have lost?
So no. I think if anything,
what it is always at that point.
Well, no, I think I've just at that point I lose something.
Just because the surprise isn't there.
Exactly. It's robbed me of the pizzazz of it. Like I know, you know what I mean? So I know exactly what it is. And I got to.
You've never had anywhere you like kind of go but get it back and you go, oh, all right, maybe this was better than like.
I don't think so. I will say that like there have been times where it's been like, like once again, it's been been on the opposite side of things. It's been like aggravating because like, let's say somebody sends me a combiner piece and I would have just left the thing in ARM mode, right? And then I get mine, and then now I got to go through all the transformation just to get it into ARM mode. Right. Like, I'll be irritated, by it, but it's fleeting. It's not like it's a permanent stain. And I do think that this acoustic wave is a good example. And I think the rig is a good example in comparison, where when I got the acoustic wave, it didn't have what I expect from Fans Toys in terms of that uppercut punch of what it should look like. It looked basic. And then I get the rig, the Huffer, and it's just like, it's got the sparkle, it's got everything that you want it to look like. And I think that when my impression is really good, my immediate impression of something is really good, it takes a lot to it up.
Right. But did you have higher expectations for that sound wave than you did for that Huffer, though?
No.
That's got to play.
Ooh.
Oh, no, wait, not at all. I would have had way more.
No.
I would have had way more. I would have expected the sound wave to be awesome and the Huffer just to be whatever, because who gives a shit?
No, because I wasn't even sure if I should have bought it, because
the sound wave? Yeah,
because I haven't been like, I've never been looking at my shelves like, man, I need a new sound wave. I look at my shelves all the time and I'm like, I need Target Masters. I'll look at my shelves and say, I need new Terracons, but I don't look at it and say I need a new sound wave. It's just not something that pops to me.
Is it because you knew one was coming though? Like, is it different when you know it's coming that you're like, all right, I don't really need a new one because I know?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that this sound wave has, to me, it's always been a ho-hum release. And then when I got it in hand, it was even more ho-hum than I expected it to be ho-hum. Because to be fair, I was kind of ho-hum about this Huffer as well. Like, I kind of felt the same way about both. I was happy with the Huffer that I had. I didn't need a new Huffer. I was happy with the sound wave I had. I didn't need a new sound wave. When I got the acoustic wave, I was like, ugh. When I got the new Huffer, I was like, out with the old, in with the new. This one deserves a spot on the shelf immediately.
I feel like your opinion was very fair on the acoustic wave. Because I don't think you don't like the figure. I think you're just disappointed. But you showed a lot of restraint. I think you're the only person who complained about Rumble and Frenzy, really. You're the only one in my freaking legs are all floppy.
Yeah, they're a mess.
Yeah, I think you were very restrained about acoustic wave, but you always come full circle, and I always give you the benefit of the doubt. And honestly, anyone else, I would think that you're just being stubborn because you've already voiced your opinion, but you always have a baseline for why you have your opinion.
And there was a comment recently that I read from a friend of mine, someone who I consider a friend, and they were like, but it's better than the Takara. And that comment has been sticking with me in my crawl. And I can admit openly and freely, and even with pride, because Fans Toys is my favorite third-party company, that it is better than the Takara. But to me, I don't care if a 7 out of 10 figure is better than a 6 out of 10 figure. If the 7 out of 10 figure is coming from a company that usually makes a 9 out of 10 figure, all I see is
how many years later?
Yes, that too. But all I see is and I'm picking these numbers arbitrarily, but like all I see is the fallback to their own standard, not the height of what they did in comparison to somebody else. I usually mostly when I look at this stuff, am comparing in my head the products to their standard they've set. I'm not comparing Magic Square to Fans Toys. It's absurd. I'm comparing Fans Toys to Fans Toys, and I'm comparing Takara now to Takara 5 years ago. And when I get on a tirade, I think that people sometimes are like, but it's the best available option. Well, yeah, but who gives a
Right. At some point, so was Omnigonic Spin Out at one point.
At a certain point, the KFC Steeljaw was the best available Steeljaw. Actually, it probably still is. Once again, I had this figure. I didn't swap out. I like it well enough to keep it in my collection. I didn't try to sell it. I have to be fair also and say, I think, to be critical of myself, that the first impressions I had did end up ringing true throughout the video, because there was nothing insanely better or worse about the figure to change them. And I think that is something that I am victim of. Like that Takara Starscream, my impressions were positive, but a few catastrophic things happened throughout that experience with it that changed my, not being able to stand was the biggest one. No waist swivel, things like that.
Yeah. See, this is the thing about Fans Toys products. They come in the box up, and at this point I think you had mentioned that perhaps they're trolling us at this point with the amount of
does that affect your impression of it though? Like I know that they come messed up in the beginning, so I know it's like, all right, cool, I gotta do a little bit of work.
They come mistransformed to fit in packaging a certain way that I hope saves space
Not all the time, though.
But
like
not all the
Soundwave.
time. And Huffer is the perfect example. His waist was just turned 180.
For no reason. But like acoustic wave, there is a laundry list of things you have to correct out of the box.
Yeah.
And most of them are...
So what if it's their way to ensure that you put hands on it, that you have to mess with it for a minute, and that creates like I mean, I hate to say it this way, but a bond with it versus like just taking it out, putting it on the shelf. It's like you actually have to put hands on it. You got to it for a minute.
They don't tell you what to do to get it right out of the box.
True.
That's the problem.
I just wonder if it has anything to do with like its stability. You know what I mean? Like safety and shipping and...
No, not at all. I think that my guess would be that it is financial in some way, shape, or form. That it's there to either, in some ways, protect paint, because sometimes flaps will be open or whatever instead of closed tight against the piece. So I think that sometimes that's it. But this Huffer one is the weirdest one because it's just his waist is turned. It doesn't seem like that should be something...
It's gotten so bad that Huffer, I didn't believe that that's all I had to do.
Yeah, same. I think that it does do a disservice in a sense of like when you open up that box, like...
Yeah, you're waiting to see something.
You're waiting to see something, and there is a process to it. Like you're opening up the shipper. Robert's commented on this before. Then you're opening up the proper box, and then you have 4 pieces of tape to cut. And like there's steps to opening up a Fans Toys piece. And once you get to it, to open it up and have it look like a doof.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It cracks me up.
I don't know. It doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me.
I do think that like a lot of companies that ship their stuff in alt mode, which is like most companies these days, Takara does it usually, X-Transbots does it.
That's the way to save space. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
compact.
But like I think a lot of those, like the first impressions are usually kind of ho-humish because you don't have this like oomph. It's like, oh yeah, it's a car. And
yeah, you got to do work to get it to what you really want.
Exactly. And I think it might be a safer way to make an impression because it's like, oh, how bad could it be? It rolls. It looks like a car. You know,
right. This looks right. Yeah,
it gives you a chance to know it a bit before making some sort of rash judgment.
But that's what's cool about opinions. Like, you know, it's good to see somebody say something that they believe, and it's not necessarily you're afraid that everybody's going to get angry at you. You know, I mean, I'm surprised as I have seen no online hate for Bobby Skullface on Rumble and Frenzy. You know, Bobby Skullface loves Ravage. No one's saying
people love Rumble and Frenzy.
Yeah,
people are.
Of course, they're saying it because it's confirmation bias. That's all.
The Rumble and Frenzy are bad. The arms are bad, and the diecast use is stupid, and the empty gaps in the back of the legs is stupid. I don't care how many guns you can fit in it; it's still dumb as a pile of bricks. Mm-hmm. You don't need to store guns in the back of the leg when the character's iconic look stores the guns on his back. It's silly.
I mean, the whole. I mean, there's no reason to have any diecast whatsoever in the tapes. None.
But anyway, let's do. I know this. I'm not really sure we stayed on topic enough for this one, but it's like an acoustic wave conversation. I don't know what this is.
First impressions of acoustic wave.
Yeah,
I think it was still a good conversation either way.
Yeah, I do too.
Spider-Gwen. A demonic ghost image of Michael Jackson. Just Google it and you'll see it. A wave pool.
I want to see somebody getting water spat in their face.
Oh yeah, Kalahari Rapids or whatever.